Yeah, so this is I mean, we're in that time, right? Like we're in that time where trade season kind of like we're going into the draft. Everybody's excited about the draft, but we're also trying to fill out rosters. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Free agency's coming up, but some teams like to get ahead of it. Some teams like to get ahead of it with trades, and they can use their cap space to do that. I don't know. And recently, James Edwards III proposed a trade. He actually wrote this article a couple weeks ago, but somebody else picked it up on NBA Analysis Network. And I'm like, you know what? It's a slower time. Let's talk about it. And here it is. It's the Pistons Spurs trade that would send Keldon Johnson to Detroit. So James Edwards came out and he just did a couple of trade proposals to other beat writers, and they kind of gave their feedback of, do I like this? Don't I like this? Would I do it if I was the GM? So both the beat writers for their respective teams kind of put their GM hat on, and here we go. We all know the Spurs landed Wembanyama with the first pick. So the question becomes, does Keldon Johnson fit that timeline? Because he's going to be due money very soon. And the question is, does he fit the timeline? So he proposed that we would send over the 5th overall pick. All right. And they would in turn send us Keldon Johnson. All right. Here's the question. Is he worth it? We're going to get into a couple of things here, but we also have to understand the money of it here. So James Edwards went on to say that his logic was pretty simple. Johnson fills a void for the Pistons as a solid offensive wing who can be effective without the ball. He can be effective with the ball too. His defense can be better, and I think it could be a more winning situation. He'll be 24 next season, and he's on a valuable contract, 4 years, $74 million. All right. His annual salary decreases in the deal's first 3 years, which starts next season. The Pistons also get a future first. I don't believe alone is worth the number 5 pick in this draft. So here's the question. And here's what you need to know about Johnson. He averaged 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, while shooting 45% from the field and 32.9% from beyond the arc. And it wouldn't tell me that his 3-point percentage is going to go up that much because he only shot 75% from the line. So he's not that old. He's not getting that much. That's not a lot of money. Okay. Under 20 million for a guy who's putting up over 20 points a game. Part of it's that we have to understand the situation he was in with San Antonio. They weren't good, but 22 points is 22 points. 22 points is 22 points. Here's why I like it. Here's why I don't. I think he can be a better defender than Bogdan. He doesn't have to replace Bogey. You can go in lineups where you have both of them on the floor. He is a scorer. He can take some of the scoring load off of Cunningham and Ivy, even though I don't know if I want him to yet. We would have him for 4 more years. He's efficient at 45% from the field. All that is good. Here's the problem. He doesn't shoot the 3 well. We need a guy who can shoot the 3. I want our big men, Isaiah Stewart. I want Jalen Duren. I want all these guys, Bagley. I want these guys making the right plays. When they see a wing open in the corner for an open 3, when they catch it in the post in this new offense with Monty Williams, where you have a half a second to make the decision, I want them catching it. I want them giving it to the open player. And I want a guy who can knock down 3s at a 40% clip so they keep making that pass. So they think they made the right pass. It is difficult for any player to continue to make the right play when your teammates keep missing. It's even harder for a young player. I want to reward the right play. So I would rather go out and spend $5 million more on a Cam Johnson. I would rather go out and spend $5 or $10 million more on a Jeremy Grant. I would rather just keep Bogdanovich. I don't know why I was stuttering over his name there. Those are better things. And then you can bring in another player with the 5th pick. Like, why not have both? Why get rid of your 5th pick and destroy your cap all in one play? The 5th pick, I believe, is slotted at 7.8 or 7.9 million. So you're eating 13 million, 12 to 13 million. Johnson's due 20 million next year. Then it progressively goes down, which is nice, but not a ton down. He's still owed 54 million over the next 3 years after this year. All right, but he gets 20 million this year. Let's say we have 35 million in cap space. So we free up 7.8, which brings us to 42, but then we get rid of 20, it brings us to 22. And now we're no longer in business for these kind of not top tier, but second or third tier guys. We're not going to be able to afford because there's 6 or 7 other teams that are in this market with us. I would rather take my chances with Cam Johnson and see if we can get him with and see if we can give him an offer that's high enough that Brooklyn doesn't match it because he's a restricted free agent. I think we take our chances and go to Jeremy Grant and say, what do you think, man? You want to come back? I say we keep Bogey. I say we take our chances with the 5th pick. This doesn't make sense. He is a legit scoring wing. I just don't think this is the right move for the Pistons right now. I would be very frustrated if we traded for another guy who's a subpar shooter, but a pretty good scorer and an okay defender. We need a good to great shooter that plays elite defense, or at least very good defense. That's what this team needs. We need a wing that can do that. He's close. Could he be melded into it? Maybe. But the longer I watch the NBA, the more I see it. It is so much easier to teach other things than shooting. It's hard. It's a crapshoot when you're talking about shooting. It's just what it is. So let me know what your thoughts are. Do you like Keldon Johnson? Do you like this trade proposal? Do you say, just wait for the draft and see what happens, see who falls to us, and go from there? I don't know. What do you think? Hey, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It is draft season, and then followed up by that, it's free agency season, which means trade season. And then followed up by that, it is NBA Summer League. Like, there's so much happening for the Pistons. Now that we have the right coaching regime in here, this is an exciting team to watch. I know last year was hard. I know last year was painful, but this year's not going to be as painful. So stick through it. Enjoy some Pistons offseason moves in the next month to 2, and then enjoy some offseason basketball with the Summer League and see some of our young guys playing. I wouldn't be shocked to see Duren on that team. I wouldn't be shocked if Ivy plays a little bit, and then a couple of other young guys that I know we've enjoyed, and we're going to have a few draft picks. This is going to be a fun year. So hit that subscribe button, hop on the Pistons bandwagon so you can say, I got on it before they got good, and enjoy this season of young Pistons basketball with a good coach. And leave a comment below. All right, we'll see you on the next one.